Get ready to get in the game. Stretch, strengthen, live, and thrive. You can be a winning athlete in the game of life. It's the Peel Appeal with author and corrective exercise specialist Matt Peel.
Hey, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. How are you today? What's going on in your world? I hope it's absolutely amazing, because today I'm going to make it even more amazing, which is not a word, and that's the whole point of why I said that, because I'm super psyched today to talk to this gentleman who is on fire for changing the world in a new way to help those of you with diabetes out there. So you want to listen up to this, because this is a gentleman who started off just as a retail pharmacist. You're kind of run-of-the-mill pharmacist helping diabetic patients. But then he learned that it wasn't just about, here's your drug, here's your prescription, this is what you need to do. It's about educating about lifestyle. And he found that a lot more effective than simply filling prescriptions. So by changing his own lifestyle, this amazing gentleman lost 50 pounds and improved his health markers. And today, the unscripted pharmacist, Kyle Rootsaert, is going to tell you how helping his clients can help transform their lives forever. Kyle, awesome to have you on the show, my friend.
Oh, thank you. What a nice intro. That's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. And as we were talking offline here earlier, Kyle and I have a little connection. He went to pharmacy school here in New Orleans, so we're reminiscing and comparing some stories about living in different parts of the country. He's in California. That's where I'm originally from, although a different part in the New Orleans area. And it's so awesome to meet you and talk to you. So tell us a little bit about your story. Like, what got you not just into pharmacy school, but what transformed you from saying, hey, I'm tired of working with these patients the same way as just a retail pharmacist, into education and lifestyle and going about it from a new angle?
Yeah, it's thanks for letting me tell the story, because I feel like it's brutally important, and for many people, it's going to be kind of a point of no return. Once you kind of know, I know this, you can't I'm going to just ignore everything that I learned. You end up becoming a cherry picking scientist, and you start looking for just truths that fit your hypothesis, rather than kind of like looking outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem really occurred to me when I was working in retail pharmacy, and this newly diagnosed diabetic patient is crying. She has no idea that she's got this diagnosis. Why didn't the doctor call me? And I'm like, I don't know either, because it's not my job. I don't hand out diagnoses. I don't make the assessment, do all the lab testing. I don't have anything. I'm just the pharmacist, right? So I'm thinking that the doctor and the patient had this long conversation, because the more that you realize diabetes, it's all encompassing. It pretty much is every aspect of your life, from movement to food, from stress and everything. Everything affects your diabetes. I'm thinking there's just no way in this 2 or 3 minute conversation that the patient and the doctor are really discussing the disease state, because there's just no way you can do this. So everybody gets an educational piece. Every newly diagnosed diabetic gets 8 hours of education. I thought, okay, let me be a part of that. Let me teach. I want to teach. There's a lack of patient education here. Maybe I can fill that void. We can get reimbursement from Medicare, Medicaid. This is a great plan. So I went down the road and started doing these classes. And so I was doing these classes for free anywhere and everywhere. Right?
Wow.
And yeah, I was really enthusiastic, and I really enjoyed it. And it was a challenge, because here I am getting out of my comfort zone as a pharmacist. Now I'm teaching. Now I'm doing something that I feel actually makes a difference. And the feedback that I'm getting from patients is like, hey, that works, right? When we come together, we're accountable. So next thing you know, like, they do their 8 hours courses that's paid, and then they go, what next? And I'm like, well, I don't really have anything. You're done with the program.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we'll be back next week. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I have for you. Well, figure something out, right? So I volunteer. So I've been volunteering as a diabetes educator this whole time, trying to help people because it's their feedback that I get. And I've lost 30 pounds. I'm no longer diabetic. I'm off of these meds, right? Because we're working together as a team and they're being held accountable through their group. But in 2015, things kind of took a little bit of a turn for me. So here I am studying the American Diabetes Association guideline. Every year they come new guidelines. And Sarah Hallberg says in a TED Talk, she's like, ignore the guideline. Like, ignoring the guideline. Ignoring the guidelines is a hell of a way to ask for research money.
Yeah.
No one's going to is going to give you a dime, right? Like, what are you going to, for that statement? Pretty much nothing, right? That'll pretty much destroy. So here she's making a stand like, yeah, what is she talking about? So I started doing my research on the ADA panel. And when I found that it was almost $750,000 that was paid by industry, by Big Pharma, sick care industry, to these committee members to recommend these drugs. And I'm taking issue with these men because it's not making sense to me. Mm-hmm. And once you have to do your own research. And I was really focused not on my pharmaceutical background, but on my biochemistry. My nutritional background got me nowhere. My biochem actually got me somewhere. This organic chemistry and this understanding it all comes back, right? But now I'm chasing different rabbits and we're going down this, what is type 2 diabetes? What's metabolism? What does sugar do? What does seed oil? What do these things do? And not just taking they're bad for you. This is good. This is bad. When I first started, I didn't know anything about nutrition. Nutrition for a pharmacist is what is hung in an IV bag next to a patient, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do. And we had a bunch of minerals and vitamins and okay, yeah.
Yeah, with doctors, look, I have medical professionals that are my clients. And people would think, well, why would a doctor come to you to work out or exercise when isn't that what they do? And the answer is no. Like what you said, they're taught how to diagnose and treat a disease, prescribe a medicine. They're not taught how to prevent. They're not taught how to exercise. They're not even really taught, hey, how do I mix my macros? How do I put a meal plan together? How do I do these things on a preventative end? So like you said, if the medical community is not emphasize that with patients, and then you're a pharmacist, but you're not an MD, so a little even different. You're not taught that at all on how to help people prevent. It's just, okay, take 2 of these a day, right? Here it is, and got some questions and like call me too. So yeah, I get it, dude. Yes. I get it. So it's a whole reverse. So frustrating. Doesn't work. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about some of the things you learned here with like metabolic health and disease reversal.
I started with Jason Fung. Jason Fung wrote the diabetes code, the obesity code, cancer code. I think he's missing something in the cancer code. But anyway, he's a pioneer. Jason Fung is a nephrologist who deals with type 2 diabetics. His patients came to him, as well as one of his coworkers. Megan Ross is like, hey, this fasting works. It lowers insulin, and we can get people off of insulin if we can get them to fast, if we can lower their insulin level. Type 2 diabetes is too much insulin.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Type 1 is not enough, and you need to take it to get it up to this normal range. But the normal range is something we don't measure. We don't know what that normal range is.
Yeah.
So to me, this has been the dirty little secret. Because when I'm in pharmacy school, and when your doctor goes to med school, he is told that insulin comes in a vial and is used to lower glucose. End of discussion. That's it.
Wow.
That's all you get. There is no, what is the role of insulin in disease? That's the one major piece of this puzzle that they never bothered to tell you. Why?
That's crazy.
It's a $10 test. It's a $10 test. The ADA will admit, for example, in the 2015 guidelines, they say the amount of carbohydrates necessary to sustain your life is 0.
Really?
all plants are carbohydrates.
Right.
Carbohydrates, but if you're eating carbohydrates, you're eating plants.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
If you're eating carbohydrates, your blood sugar is going up and down.
Right.
So
Right.
the question is, do we really know what your glucose is doing? And have we just been guessing this entire time? If you're trying to manage glucose, you
Yeah.
better be measuring it. And when I say measure it, I'm not talking about an A1C. I'm not talking about a 3-month average. I'm talking about what's it right now. You got a number? And which direction is it going? Up, down, sideways? Like I want to know right now, not in 20 minutes. Like I can find out what exactly does my food and lifestyle do to my metabolism. And we're missing metabolism. And we've been using glucose and should be using glucose as kind of a proxy for insulin. When glucose goes up, insulin goes up with it.
Yeah.
If I see my elevated glucose level, you can kind of make an assumption that your insulin level is elevated. And I'm saying that insulin is the one marker. If you go and look up, say, metabolic syndrome, because we talk about metabolic syndrome all the time, you will run across metabolic syndrome is insulin resistance. Okay. What does that mean? What does insulin resistance actually mean? What will my finding be on a lab test? What will it look like on a piece of paper? What lab would indicate that you have insulin resistance? Why aren't we looking at that? It's a high insulin level. Metabolic syndrome is a hyperinsulin syndrome. And so what is the effect of an excess insulin level in our bloodstream on our tissues, on our organs? We can't just sit here and go, it just lowers glucose. It doesn't just lower glucose. That's the problem. That's the dirty little secret. Your doctor doesn't know that. You already know more than your doctor. Okay? I would say everybody needs to measure an insulin level. Everybody has a level of insulin resistance. And I'm saying 93% of the population has an out of whack insulin level because, and they will have one of these 5 findings that you find in metabolic syndrome. You have elevated glucose, diabetes, but I would tell you this. Insulin levels rose 7 to 10 years before you got that diagnosis of diabetes. Your blood sugar, before it ever was elevated, your insulin level would have been the key. 7 years earlier?
Wow. I had no
Why are
idea.
we measuring this thing? Why are we measuring this in kids?
So good question.
Why don't we
Good
ever
question.
talk about the role of insulin?
So finish the other ones, and then
Okay,
let's get to
So yeah,
wearable tech a little bit and how
yes.
that can help with that. So good segues.
So, and I've got one really cool for you.
Okay.
We're gonna really nerd out at the end of it. Look at us. Insulin. Okay, so high glucose levels, elevated, like so your waist circumference will increase. So you're carrying fat in the wrong place. Visceral fat. Okay.
Right. Yes.
The rest of the other fat, subcutaneous fat, is pretty much inert. It really doesn't do anything, ladies. Chill. But dudes, we get it here, we get it in the front. It's dangerous because this means that there's fat in my pancreas, my liver. It could be all over. Right? This is dangerous fat. Hispanic get this worse than anybody else. They're very, very insulin resistant. And also, what we look at is hypertension.
Okay.
Hypertension is a salt issue. That's nonsense. Hypertension is the effect through the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone, a certain system where insulin indirectly causes a sodium and water retention. So what happens when you lower insulin levels? They piss it all off. You get rid of the sodium and water, so you lose 10 pounds of water weight. You dump your sodium and you start cramping. Right? So imagine now if we had a really good idea on your metabolism. What if we knew your metabolism minute to minute? Right?
Right.
Now, what if we also knew, and we learned, this is what this is all about. We learned how you and your lifestyle and what you're doing, sleep, stress, not moving, right?
Yeah.
When we see and we learn through AI exactly how you respond to the different foods, the different stresses, the lack of sleep. When we put all this together, I can create a digital twin of you. So now, as an athlete,
Yep.
you got an event. Baby, hey, you think about female athletes and how different they are from males, right? When should you be working hard and when should you not be working hard, right? When are you going to maximize recovery? Do we need to increase intensity or volume? Or do we need to dial down intensity and volume? But imagine having a finger on the pulse, literally. Like you've got cardiovascular function with HRV, respiratory rate, average heart rate. You know when your athletes are starting to get sick and when they need to back off. And imagine getting a notice in real time, educating you on that. Hey, your HRV is down. Last night, your respiratory rate went up, as well as your REM sleep is down 10%, right? You're too low. These
They're
are
not recovering.
factors. Yeah, you have an injury coming.
Yep.
You're overtraining. You need to back off. Now let's use a change in your protocol.
I dig it.
Let's reduce your volume by 20%. Right?
That's fantastic. I love it. I love it because I'm studying my sports certification right now too. I'm already corrective exercise specialist, so I'm getting my sports certification as we speak. So it's all about that. And you're right. Right now it's
on.
Yeah, it's up to obviously just feedback. Hey, how are you feeling today, Kyle? Well, I'm a little sore. I'm a little tired. I don't know. My left hip is just kind of today. And then okay, well, maybe we should do a little stretching. Maybe we should do something else. But it's all subjective, right? We have no objective data to say, well, you know why? It's because you haven't slept well. Your resting heart rate is off. Guess what? You're also a little dehydrated. That could also play a big role. You know, all these different things. And you're right. That's what wearable tech, like I say, data-driven health is super huge. Then can help with, what the other point you want to talk about. I think it's very important with this is motivation and behavioral change. Because if you have the data, right, and you can say, okay, well, these are where your markers are. Like you can't question this. This is what it's at. Like you said, this is where our numbers are right now. How can now we use that to generate behavioral and motivation change?
Imagine having an AI athletic trainer that motivated you. Or maybe you have friends that have motivated you over the past and you have that and when you're feeling crappy or whatever, oh yeah, hey, here's a nice little video of me being nice to myself. And a lot of behavior changes, like it's kindness, it's self-care, right? It's a journey that I don't want to take from anybody, but I want to help on that journey. And I want them to learn. I feel like education is everything because I don't want you to depend on me for the rest of your life. I want you to know I want you to see the foods and your lifestyle with your own eyes.
Right.
When you learn it, you can't undo it. You can't fix that. You know that your time to go to bed is a certain time. And then my glucose is going to be up. I'm going to disappoint people. Like there's consequences now that I can actually see.
Yeah.
Versus how do I feel? But imagine like AI could learn. It could learn your glucose. Wow. It could learn how you respond to carbohydrates. Everybody wants to know, hey, what's my real metabolic reaction to food? Measure it. This is how you measure it. Adding glucose to this, this thing is PPG is what it is. It's the wearable sensor, like the smartwatch and the smart ring. Marrying that, glucose, I think, gives you a very complete picture. And as we add more sensor data, things like we're probably going to have ketones. We may have fructose. We may have uric acid. We got ethanol already, right? How many more sensors are we going to have? Like, imagine the value of lactic acid for athletes as well as cancer.
Right.
So look at trend.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff because some people are going to say, Matt, Kyle, thank you for sharing that with me. I'm not a professional athlete. I am an accountant, and I sit at my desk all day. And so it's great what you're telling me, but I don't give a shit because I don't play professional sports. And that's why I wrote my book called The Athlete in the Game of Life, right? Because the point is, yes, you're dealing with someone's life if you're an accountant, right? That's their finances, that's their business. So look, you're dehydrated. If you haven't had sleep, you're not looking at those numbers in a way because you're not at top of your game. there is still a lot of financial consequences, even though you say, I'm just an accountant sitting here at my desk for 12 hours a day during tax season. So I think it's great for all of us, because we're all athletes, like I said, like that, to have this so we can perform better in our jobs for our families, etc.
Yeah. Kick-ass grandpa.
Right.
That's the goal, right? This is
Right.
very, so I really want to hear my grandkids say, slow down, Papa, going too fast, and you take a break, right? That's me. If you get up, I really do ask this quite frequently, like, what is your reason to live? You have purpose, not because you're afraid of dying. It's because, no, you get up every morning because you want to live. You choose every single day that this is what it's all about, because I'm working towards that, right? Whatever that is. And hoping that isn't a bikini or some goal weight. But I'm hoping that it's more of, I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z. I've got this list. I got this functionality. I want to be able to get down on all fours and wrestle with the grandkids. I don't want to fall. I don't want to fall and bust a hip, because in all reality, that's what kills a lot of us. Or it creates a massive decline. The sedentary.
It is.
I think women need to understand, you got to lift heavy. Don't do the treadmill for hours on end. You're not even helping yourself. Lift heavy, eat the meat, get big. I hate to say, I won't see bulky women. Let's see old ladies running around, but I think, man, you could use some help.
Dude, you just you nailed it. You nailed it.
I want to scream at them and go, this isn't doing you any good. If you're able to carry on a conversation, watch TV, don't bother. You want to scream at them leaving out the door. I'm going to just scream, it's the food. It's your insulin level.
Right.
The question is, why do we use insulin for type 2 diabetics? You already have a high insulin level. Giving it more makes people fat. Insulin makes us fat. Insulin is the fat storage hormone. Everyone's walking around with it, but no one's measuring it, because the ADA takes money from insulin manufacturers.
Right, the back door, right? Where's the money trail?
The back door. They take money from big food. So does the AHA. Why do we even listen to them anymore?
Right, dollars.
Have your best interest at heart. There's no way, because that drug, insulin, makes absolutely no sense. Increase in death, increase in weight gain, increase in complications. Why do we have this drug? How many type 2 diabetics who are on insulin understand that you have a state of excess insulin and your beta cells may not be dead, and they probably aren't, and you can make plenty on your own? I find that people who are on insulin, take away the insulin, their insulin that they make themselves is very high. It'd be like 50, right?
Yeah.
They're overproducing. The question is, why are you overproducing? Why do you have so much insulin resistance? That's the lifestyle. That's us damaging our mitochondria.
And your lifestyle, right? We talk about lifestyle, the style of your life, right? And one of the things I discuss with people, especially going to weight loss, and I say diet, right? What are first 3 letters diet? Die. Last time I was talking to someone, die was not on their agenda or on their bucket list.
That's not why they're working.
That's not why we're working out. So we're not here just to go on these fad, crash, fancy diets with this company or that company, right? It's lifestyle. Sure, there's supplementation, good, bad, indifferent, whatever you want to think about your supplementation. That's another discussion for another day. But it's still part of your lifestyle. And when you change your lifestyle, that becomes more permanent. And then you learn and habits, behavioral change, things like that, right? It's more than 30 days to start or change a habit, good, bad, or indifferent. It's more like 62 or something like that, somewhere. And the more often you do whatever that behavior is, the faster that habit, good or bad, is going to take place and change. So, dude, I love all this, Kyle. So as we start to wrap up, how can people find you, use you, and make the lifestyle changes that you're so passionate about?
I have a website, the unscriptedpharmacist.com. Go there and sign up for our newsletter, and I will let you in on what we're doing. I'm partnering with the software company. We're going to bring all this together. I'm going to gamify the educational process. So I'm really looking forward to partnering with them and putting all this together, working on these AI models. I might be turning back to you and going, hey, what would you want? What would be the ideal user interface for, say, an athlete that's
Awesome.
trying to train on their own, like an AI-supported physical trainer, right? Personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
What would that look like? What those metrics would look like, right? So, that's the direction I'm going. So sign up through the website, and we'll keep you in the loop for what we're doing. But I'm on YouTube. I got all the social media accounts. LinkedIn is Kyle Rootsaert. Facebook and Instagram as well.
Right. So yeah, your Instagram, Unscripted Pharmacist. Your Facebook, Unscripted Pharmacist. And then let me spell Rootsaert for everybody. It's ROOTSAERT. The E being silent. So Rootsaert.
Yeah.
So people trying to pull you up and say, well, how the hell do I find this guy? I don't know what's going on. So that's how
whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So please get in touch with Kyle. He has some great services, great way to help change your life in a very positive way. And Kyle, I'd love to have you back on the show, and maybe we drill down on a couple of these topics a little bit more out there. So that's fantastic. Are you writing a book? You thinking about writing a book? Have you written one?
Yeah, I'm working with a chiropractor in Jakarta. We're working on a book together.
Nice.
And I started. I have to tell the story.
Go ahead. You tell real fast.
Yeah. No. It's been such an inspirational journey. It's been such an amazing life transformation in so many different ways. I mean, I'm not the same person. I have the energy of a 12-year-old. I know that freaks my wife out, but it's having that energy and feeling just like if you got something really amazing, you want to share.
Yes.
But it doesn't just work in somebody. Like, I know people go, oh, my metabolism is different. Like, no, if you're a Homo sapiens, it works. Okay. So don't tell me it doesn't work for you, because it works. You got to try it. You have to give it a fair shake. You really do, because it works for everybody. But if you give this a fair shake, the changes that you experience are just so much more energy, and so much that is missing in so many people's life, right?
Yeah.
They're going down this life of disease, and they're running into this burning building, and I just want to scream and say, no, you're a victim. Like, we're all victims of this misinformation campaign. And we got to stop the death and suffering, because it's unnecessary, it's unwarranted, and it's all for the sake of profit. And it needs to end. It really does. And if people are, I hate to say it, but the smartest ones are going to be the ones that win. They're going to be the ones that come out ahead.
Yep. Love
But
it.
if you're listening to it, you're probably a heck of smart anyways, and you're going down the right, it's just one of a new identity.
That's why I love it. Kyle, thank you. I appreciate you being on the show. I look forward to getting you back and getting some more topics going, man.
For sure.
So awesome. So this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. I hope you liked that today. I am fired up. I'll tell you what, as we wrap up this show, and I hope you are too. So go look up Kyle again, unscriptedpharmacist.com. And while you're at it, why don't you go out there and check out Amazon and check out my book, The Athlete, The Game of Life, that we talked about, because guess what? You are an athlete in your game of life. So until next time, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. I will chat with you later.
Are you ready to get in the game? Get personal help, sign up for our newsletter, and pick up your copy of Athlete in the Game of Life, the book, all at mattpeel.com. Thanks for listening.